Guys, welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here today with me, and today I'm going to share with you guys some of my first time mom fails. Let's be honest, all of us have fails every single day. It doesn't stop, but these are some things that stood out to me as a first time mom that I would love to see you guys maybe not make the same mistake with. So I remember when I was pregnant with my first, I remember thinking about all the things that I should purchase and have sort of set up before the baby arrived. For some reason, I had this mindset that I just needed everything at home. I needed to be totally prepared, and that probably just gave me a peace of mind. And I also had some friends that had had kids before me, and so of course they offered their advice and sort of ideas of things that maybe I should implement into my artillery of stuff that I needed for a newborn. So I'm going to start with something that I bought that I didn't actually need in the future of having my kids. Now the funny thing is I only have this left over, and if you can already tell or guess what it is, it's a sound machine. So one of my friends that had a baby told me that this is going to be a lifesaver, that I'm going to use it every day, all day, and that was the only way that it would get their baby to sleep. And so right away I went out and bought one. I think it's called a sleep sheet. If I find the picture, I'll throw it up there. But essentially it was just a sound machine. So it's a stuffed animal with this little gadget inside. It has all different settings: heart, rain, ocean, whale, and you turn it on. And so it creates white noise while your baby sleeps. At the time, and this was my first baby, I'm home. We lived in a basement suite. It was very soundproof, so there was no issues with sound. And I'm literally like just the room over from where my daughter was sleeping. And so using a sound machine in that setting wasn't really necessary, because during naps, either I was holding my daughter through a lot of her naps, especially during the newborn stages, because A, I was tired myself and it was just more easier to sit there with her, and B, I just really wanted to look at her and admire her and just relax. I barely use this thing, and I can't remember how much it cost me, but I know that it just wasn't really worthwhile. Then as she got older, I tried to introduce it and sort of use it as a technique, as a sound barrier in case I decided to go or do something that was a little more noisy. And I found that it just really didn't work for her. She would often actually wake up from the noises, and it wasn't the type of white noise that she was accustomed to normally, and I just didn't find it effective. So before you run out and buy a white noise machine, consider that maybe your child is sensitive to sound. Maybe certain white noise sounds are foreign to them. I found that things like the dishwasher already was a great white noise sound. I know I've heard some people say even vacuum cleaners are great for their kids. You know, every child is different. Yeah, I would just maybe caution you on spending money on certain devices before you really have your child in your arms and you get to know them really well. The other thing you can do is, a lot of people will find apps on their phone, and they often use their cell phones to create white noise. And so if you're okay with doing that, that's another strategy as to using white sound without having to go out and buy the device for it. So the next thing that I did, that I was very excited and passionate about, and I did tons of research, and I actually went and talked to different experts and people that had done this before, is cloth diapering. Now, this is incredibly cute, or at least I think so. But here's the thing. So I went out and I bought a beautiful set of diapers. I bought everything that I needed. So basically just set myself up for the newborn stages and beyond. I had a few diapers that would expand. Like, I know these ones, they clip and expand. And I really gave it my all with my first. As you can anticipate, this is something that I didn't stick with. My thing is that cloth diapering it's a lot of work. You know, our grandparents' generation used cloth. I think even my mom said for a while she used cloth on me, but you know, it's quite the commitment. But my main issue with cloth diapering is not that I'm against it. I think it's wonderful if you have the powers to be to do it with your kids. My issue was that my daughter's skin was extremely sensitive, and no matter what type of detergents I used, no matter what types of creams that I used that were safe with cloth diapering, no matter what, my daughter would consistently break out and get terrible, terrible rashes from these diapers. And I think it was just the idea that she was sitting in wet for too long. And sometimes it would only be for half an hour. I mean, I couldn't afford to constantly change her cloth because then I would be doing laundry at all hours every day, all day long. So I was doing probably laundry every 2 days, and it was still not enough. I felt like if didn't get her out of that wet cloth diaper, her rashes would just appear. And so I read up on things. I did all types of strategies and techniques, and nothing really helped her. And so I got so tired of it one day, and I felt so bad for her skin that I finally just broke down and put her in a disposable diaper. And honestly, it was like her rashes just cleared up instantly. And so I had to make a tough decision that, you know what, cloth diapering is not working for her, and it's just not really practical. I ended up doing the whole disposable switch, and I sold my cloth diaper lot and probably lost some money because I'd spent a lot of money buying some really nice high-end quality diapers, and they were barely used. So I really recommend waiting. Now, I know that might not be a popular opinion, but honestly, these things do cost a lot of money. I know that at the hospital, and there's a lot of programs out there that will actually give you free disposable diapers to start with. And maybe just try it. Try getting maybe a couple cloth diapers and then disposable, and then just see how you feel, instead of doing what I did, which was buying the whole sort of shebang, the whole set, and thinking that you were just going to be like, that you're going to be this hardcore cloth diaper. So yes, that would be another mistake of mine that I made, and hopefully it won't be yours. So the next thing that I bought was a breast pump. So this is the swing. I did include all of the parts. I just thought I'd grab a couple things just so it kind of made sense of what this actually is. But I started with one, and then I actually ended up buying a second because I really wanted to pump at the same time to be more efficient. Now, it would have been nicer if I had just bought the double pump, but in the end, I'm actually going to tell you that I wish I didn't buy either of them. So the reason why I bought the pump was I was told that it helps to bring your milk on, it helps with your supply, and maybe I might consider getting my husband to help feed or do some nightly feeds. So I was really inspired to go out and get one. I did a lot of research. I got the Medela brand. I'd heard great things, and so I went out and I put out that money, that hard-earned money, for these breast pumps that are not cheap, and essentially bought them. And so yes, I did use the breast pump in the beginning because my milk supply was quite low, and I was trying to help bring my milk in, and my daughter was really ferocious and hungry, and so I felt this real sense of pressure to try to get some bottles set up, so I had them on sort of standby. Now, on top of that, I also went through a lot of cracked nipples and pain and just a whole other world of difficulties when it came to trying to get her to latch and to breastfeed properly. And so as an alternative, in between all that, I was trying to pump. Now, what I found was that pumping was not great for me. It was actually a really stressful experience. It wasn't working very well. I was sitting there pumping for sometimes 40 minutes and just getting like a teeny tiny amount of milk in the bottles, and it was just draining. I used the pump for a little while, and then eventually I just kind of started to stop using it, and Hadley was taking to nursing, and my supply was starting to catch up, and breastfeeding just became a way of life for us, and so I never really needed the pump. My husband, I found that he had to go back to work, so I wasn't going to expect him to get up in the middle of the night and feed our daughter. It's just easier for me, and plus relieving, because when your breasts are full of milk, all you want to do is breastfeed. You don't really want to pass them off to be fed. So it just became this natural relationship that I had with my daughter, and so I just always nursed her on demand. So essentially, I never used the pump after that. My second daughter came along. Hi. Hi. I took to breastfeeding naturally. Everything worked out fine. My third never looked at my pump. What's that? Have some bar? Filming with kids, isn't that always the way? Interruptions, no matter what. Here I am, I still have the breast pumps because I haven't been able to sell them, and it's just like, I just feel guilty because why do I have these things? I kind of kept them because I thought, well, what if, or just in case, but it's quite an investment to have something for a just in case situation. So I really just caution you on going out and buying a breast pump right away. You don't need a breast pump to bring your milk in. Your baby does that, and they do an incredible job doing it. Now, obviously breastfeeding does not work for everybody, and I completely understand that. But for those that plan on nursing, that can nurse, that's their goal, don't think or rely on a machine to do that for you. You're gonna find that it's much easier to just breastfeed your baby on demand. That's been my case, and it's probably something that I'll continue with this fourth little baby. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about is just something more practical, and I think a lot of people obviously know this, but I also want to reiterate it because I've had 3 daughters, and it's one of those things where stereotypically women get excited when they know that you're having a girl. And so you get given a lot of sort of sweet, beautiful little outfits and little crinoline dresses and, fancy little 2-3-piece suits and things like that. And maybe that's true for boys as well, but I know that it seems more heavy for girls. And I just want to err on the caution that in the first few months, you're just gonna really have your child living in little onesies. Probably just because in the beginning, you're extremely tired and sore. Your recovery is happening alongside with caring for this new person in your life, and you need to make it easy on yourself as well. So, there's definitely a process about, getting your baby ready for the morning. I know for me, all of my girls lived in little sleepers and little onesies, just practical, easy items to get on and off of them. I also found that newborns are fussy and they don't really like when things are pulled over their head or their eyes. It upsets them and kind of stresses them out. So if you tend to want to put, fancy little outfits on your kids, they're going to be fighting you and they're not going to be too happy. And so your best bet is just to have a simple set of onesies, a simple set of sleepers, and be happy with that. Your baby is going to look beautiful and sweet in these things, and it's such a short period in their life that they're going to be wearing this stuff, and then pretty soon you can start to get them in those cute little outfits and little coordinating matching outfits with their siblings or whatever is your sort of niche. But I got given a lot of dresses, skirts, all kinds of little items and accessories for my daughters, and they wore like 10% of that stuff in the beginning. It's sweet and it's nice, but it's just not practical. You're at home 99% of the time with your kids in the beginning anyways. And so, I would throw in a little outfit and take a picture for grandma, but at the end of the day, this stuff is not something that my babies lived in. My girls, they pooped, they puked, they stained stuff, they peed through stuff like every day. And so, do you want to be washing and scrubbing a little tutu skirt, or do you want to just throw one of these in the wash with some bleach? I don't know. So that's my little piece of advice. And hopefully these tips are helpful for you guys and not repetitive. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm excited to continue to share our journey with baby number 4. Ooh. And it's been a fun ride, and it's certainly a blessing to be a mama. And thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.